Good morning, everybody. It's me, Heather Nichols, today for the Tailored Expressions Live. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're all doing well. I'm going to pull up the chat here, and we're going to cross our fingers that technology is on our side. Welcome to the Tailored Expressions Live, like I just said. I'm coming to you from central Minnesota. Tailored Expressions is based out of Ankeny, Iowa, if you didn't know, but I work remotely for them, so I am in central Minnesota. This week has been... Well, it was very hot last weekend, like most of the country is experiencing. And central Minnesota cooled down here this week. It had some pretty major storms. We didn't get affected as much as down in the Minneapolis area. And actually, my mom lives about a half an hour away, and they had pretty high winds. I believe that was Tuesday night. But the good thing is the storm brought us cooler temperatures, and that has been much better. We had some yard work to do to kind of clean up after the storm at my mom's house. And my daughter and I did that with her yesterday. And that was much better than 100 degrees to pick up sticks in the yard. So, but we got all that done. And today is warmer, but we're supposed to have more rain tonight. And I'm looking forward to next week. You guys, we are winding down summer. We are in the last week of August. Susan, you are in cool Silver Bay. I would love to be up in Silver Bay this morning. Good morning, everybody. See, my chat is popping in. Good morning, Rachel and Susan and Deb and David and Gail and Sarah. It is good to see all of you. Thank you, guys. Lots of compliments about the new kit. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a little bit. Yes, Carol, she's saying good morning. So the upper 90s here in Central California. Make it stop. I am ready for fall and temperatures. I think we've talked about this before. I love fall and winter. Winter is actually one of my favorites, which means I am a true Minnesotan, right? I love the snow, and I love being snowed in, and I love to do things out in the snow. I don't like ice. Ice on the roads makes me crazy, but I love when the weather is cool and all of that sort of thing. Susan says, come up and visit sometime. I love the North Shore. We make many trips up the shore as much as we can. So good morning, Whitney and Carol. Thank you about the new kit. Audrey, greetings from Texas. Still hot there. Does it ever cool down in Texas? Although I know you guys have gotten snow. I don't know. Weather is so weird, isn't it? Good morning, Sue. You are driving home. You're on the road driving home to Texas. You're going to the hot. Pamela, good morning from Colorado. Oh no, Lisa, you're sick in bed with COVID. That is so not fun. It's going around for sure. We know many people that have had it, so take care of yourself. Get better. Maybe if you're well enough, you have some craft time that maybe you didn't have before, right? But I also know it's good to just kick back and rest. So so I'm looking forward to fall. We've been doing all the Halloween and all the fall this month. We had you do a little bit of Halloween. The last time I saw you was Halloween release week. And then this week we released the Tombstone Treats Kit. And I designed this kit, a little bit different kit than some of our other kits because we focused on making treats for Halloween for this kit. But as you saw, there's so many other ways that you can use this kit as well. So I hope you guys are excited about that. I just love the idea of all the little tombstones lined up, like for a Halloween party or setting on people's desks for Halloween. I thought that was a really fun idea. And I think, in my style, I'm not like a super spooky illustrator, so we did a little bit of a cute spooky with the tombstones, if you will. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. We're going to create more with it today. There's been a lot of stuff online on our social media and YouTube channels, so you can catch up if you have not and want to learn all about this kit. Taylor, of course, talked about it on Tuesday on the live, showed you all of the pieces of the kit and the things you can buy outside the kit and samples and all of that sort of thing. On the blog, we've had Mindy Egan, and she had a video on Tuesday showing you some things that you can create with the kit, cute little treat box. And I think she had a card too. And then today we have Joy Baldwin on, and Joy is making a spooky treat box, but she also is making a sweet treat box because the box die, I think you're going to see this stick around for a while, and I think you're going to see some other fun things that you can create with this treat box kit. It is a fun little box. We might put one together here. We'll see how our timing is because my project isn't necessarily a box, but it could be for a box. So yes, Farley, you love the crow in my kit. I'm glad you like it. He turned out pretty cute, or she, I guess, but I had fun with that for sure. So good morning. So many of you popping in. It's good to see all of you. So that's what's going on this week. I don't have any sneak peeks for you because we don't have a release happening next week. In the United States, Monday is Labor Day. It's also a very busy week. In Minnesota, a lot of kids, that's when they go back to school next week. I know there's many kids already back in school. My daughter started at college this week. They started their classes on Monday. So it's a very busy time of year. So we have some things coming up, of course. So make sure you check in with us. But we don't have a release on Tuesday. Taylor will be live on Tuesday. So make sure you tune in so you can see what crafty things and ideas she has up her sleeve. And she'll talk about kind of what's going on that week. And September, of course, if you are not new to Tailored Expressions, September is our birthday month. And so make sure that you are signed up for all of the things because, of course, we're going to have our birthday release. So September is going to be busy with that. And then, of course, at the end of the month, we will have our big Christmas release. So I hope you are ready for all of the craftiness and inspiration. Birthday cards are something I always need in my stash. I know you guys probably do too. And then, of course, Christmas, if you have not started your Christmas crafting. We, of course, started a little early in July with the sweater weather kit. But then you'll also get our full release of our new things. And it's good. I've seen it. It's so much fun. I have something coming out, too. I hope you guys enjoy it. But that'll be the end of the month. There's Lori Craig. Hey, you guys, if you want to continue the crafting after I'm done, Lori is going to be live with scrapbook cards in today with Ola markers. So make sure if you, like I said, why just stay on and watch. Just click over to their channel right after we're done crafting here, and you're going to have 2 hours, right, of craftiness. So make sure you watch Lori at 11 and scrapbook cards in today right after. So I'll try to remind you at the end too. But yes, so let's see. I do have one sneak, however, and this sneak actually isn't a project, but it's something that starts tomorrow. And so I'm going to click up the graphic for that. So if you try to do this today, it's not going to work. So let me click this up and I'll show you what this is all about. We have a Labor Day sale that starts tomorrow, and you can get 10% off of purchases of $75 or more, or 15% off your purchase of $150 or more. There are some exclusions. There is a code there. Look at Labor Day 24. Write it down. Do not use it today. If you use it today and it doesn't work and you contact customer service, they're going to be like, that's not today. It starts tomorrow on Friday. But there's your sneak from me. So I hope you enjoy a sale sneak versus a project sneak, although I know project sneaks are much more, well, I don't know, because now you can stock up on all the supplies. So maybe you'll watch today and you can get inspired, and you need to fill up your cart with some exciting things. So that's the sneak, is the Labor Day sale that starts tomorrow. Woo, it's hot, you guys. I have thick hair and it just gets really warm. So, okay. And also, if you have not participated, you are in the last days of the month of August and the last couple days to participate in the TE Maker Challenge. My project today doesn't incorporate the challenge, but I've done a couple projects this month with you guys that did. So let me pop that up just to remind you. It's a color challenge this month with sour gummy and spearmint, with any other colors that you want. And we love to see your projects. We love to see what you come up with. There's some really neat color combinations that I have seen on the Fans of Tailored Expressions Facebook page. That's where you're going to want to post your projects. You can post, I think, up to 3 times, and you are going to be in a drawing. We give away 4 $25 store credits each month for the TE Maker Challenge. So you just have to post your projects in the group, and you put the hashtag TE Maker Challenge on it, and you are eligible. And like I said, we love seeing your projects, so make sure you join us. Okay, so are you ready to create with the Tombstone Treats Kit? I have a project for you today. You saw my projects Taylor showed on Tuesday, and I have another project to share with you today, and I hope you enjoy it. We're going to do a few things with it. So let me flip you down to my desk, and then you can take a look at what we're going to create. I put my little boxes that I did create. So if you didn't see these were my treat boxes that I created with the Tombstone Treats Kit. And Taylor had some of these down at the studio and showed you earlier in the week. But there's that cute little box that I think you're going to see a lot more of. And the Tombstone is sized and designed to go right in the front, so you can have a little, we're kind of in a top view, a little graveyard of treat boxes. And I know Taylor talked about the size. I loved the little treat that she stuck into there, but we sized this. I could fit 2 fun-size Snickers candy bars in here. So not just 1, 2 can fit in there. So nice and tight and snug in there. But of course you can put all sorts of little other treats in there and go into the Halloween. I just saw my Target finally started putting out all the Halloween candy and everything, and there's probably lots of fun options and ideas of things that you can pop in there for a Halloween treat. So let's see, we are going to create tags today. So I did create some other tags, but we're going to create another type of tag. And if you can tell, I actually made these into a shaker tag. So there are little star confettis inside there. We're going to do a little foiling today and create the little tombstone tag. I made little bats fly off the top of the tombstone. I'm going to show you how I did that. It's very easy to do. So you can tie these on to little treat bags or little gifts or something like that. And actually, if you didn't want to do the tags, you can leave the eyelet off and you could stick it right on the front of the box too. And maybe we'll see how much time we have at the end. But yes, you could put this on the front of the treat box as well. So let's get creating. Yes, Whitney, shaker tags. You knew I wouldn't disappoint, right? So we have some foiling to do first. So I've got to grab my mink here and I need to turn it on. So let's warm that up and let's grab our panels. So these are the foil panels that are available outside of the kit that coordinate with it. And these are the ones, the name of the foil kit is escaping me right now. And I know somebody watching will definitely pop it up in the chat for you guys. But there are 2 different cards and there's all sorts of fun names to go onto your tombstones. And I had fun looking and coming up with these names for this tombstone. So these are all printed in that toner-based ink so that you can foil them. And you can use them as is too. So if you just want to leave them black, you can just use the panels as is. You definitely don't have to foil. So let's cut a few of these out. I'm going to use this one because for the samples, I used this card. But let's cut a few of these out. So instead of foiling the whole sheet at once, all of it. Let me turn my die cut machine so my handle doesn't run into my mink. I'm really multitasking here. I got my mink warming up and we're going to cut out some of these. So these are, excuse me, sized to fit into the little frame panels in the point of no return die collection. So these 2 kind of frames that fit onto the tombstone that are sized to fit around these, and most of them fit in both of the frames. There's a few that might just fit into the bigger frame, like I think this Here Lies Phil Dirt, he just fits kind of more into that bigger frame better, but like Dug Down Deep, he fits in the little one. So let's cut out a couple of these and we're gonna foil them. Let me grab my tape to hold this all in place so that they stay centered. And there's that opening right in the middle so that you can see that word, but you also get the cute little impressions around the outside of the frame. Okay, let me find my plate so we can cut those out. Yes, and if you didn't, I think Debbie's talking about how Joy Baldwin is doing a little bit different style of the treat box. If you go on the Tuesday Live, Taylor showed a couple other examples of different ways to decorate the box. There was someone had put a gnome, I think it was Susan, on the front of the box, and it's so cute. And then somebody else did a bunch of the fall, is it the Woodland Squad critters on the front of the box? That was so cute. So we'll just cut out a few of these and foil them up. Yes, there's so many options and ideas for what you can do with these little boxes already. It's a great little size. And of course, for Halloween treats, we have the pre-cut boxes. You get 20 in your kit. But then you can also order more. I believe those are packs of 10 that you can order more, and they're all out of the black licorice cardstock. Or there's a die, so you can cut out your boxes out of any color cardstock that you want with the die. Okay, do I have my foil magic shim? Yes, I sure do. And I have candy corn foil. Just gonna take this and stick this here. So I'm just gonna cut some little pieces to fit over the top of my little tombstone frames here. It's a great way. I think it's nice when you cut these up smaller because then it's easier to just use smaller pieces and get the most out of your foil. One for there. That one fits right there, and I just need one more little piece for the Is He Dead? Okay, put that right there. Put my foil to the side. We'll stick it into our sleeve here. I'll make sure my foil stays over the top. This is where the static comes in, so not helpful. Okay, send that through. We'll foil that. Anna, you're going to order the die eventually. I think it's going to be around, and I think this is going to be one. That's what the die looks like. It is going to be one that will stay around, and I think we're going to have some fun with this. Pam, you're asking how many you can cut out of one sheet of cardstock. If there is some creative placement, I think you could get 2, but because you have to cut the cardstock to go through your die cut machine, I've only been able to get 1, but I try to multitask and I cut the box out of part of it and then the tombstones out of the other part yet. So, yes, Gail, the kit is not sold out yet. It is still available. So you don't have to panic. It's still there. You can still get it. All right, I'm gonna set this foil machine aside. And we'll undo the foil from the little things. Can you see the little, yep, we got the orange shine. Noah Escape. Whoop. Here Lies Phil Dirt. Is He Dead? And Dug Down Deep. All right, let me get rid of these scraps. So of course, these are on sugar cube cardstock, so we need to color them up a little bit. So I have my Earl Grey ink ready with my blender brush. So I'm really just gonna I'm gonna hit most of the piece of it, but mainly gonna go just around the edges of it. This Earl Grey ink is gonna show up quite a bit. This is what we're gonna do all of our blending with today. I think I'm only going to do a couple of tags, but I got 4 little nameplates here. Just, I'm always like making more than I need to make. So really I'm coming around the edge so I have it's definitely darker right on the ends where it's hitting my brush, and then in the middle you can still see that orange name. I think for this too, sometimes I like using that bigger brush because I feel like I can get a softer touch with it. I think the bitty brushes, sometimes they kind of too much color in one spot. So definitely when I'm doing edges around stuff, I like to use that bigger blending brush. You can definitely use the bitty blender brushes, but this is just one of my preferences. So I'm going to go around all those edges. And of course, if you're going to do a whole bunch of treats, foil and cut out and just do this all at once. If you do one thing at a time, it's going to take you a long time to get all of this stuff done. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit more color on this one. Okay, I'll set this aside for now, but there we go. Here, let me pick these up so you can take a look at them. There you go. All right, so now let's get our tombstones cut out. So the cool thing about these dies, especially when it comes to making tags, is that the tombstones are perfectly symmetrical. Oh, they're sticking together. So you can cut out one tombstone for the front and one for the back, and you can flip it so that you have a really pretty back on your tag and a pretty front. So I love that when tags are, or when pieces are symmetrical like that, especially if I'm going to do a tag, because we're doing a shaker tag, so you want 2 layers there. But even if you're doing a flat tag and you want to just add a little strength to that tag, this just makes it look really nice because you can easily flip it over and have a pretty front and a pretty back on your tag. So I'm going to cut out enough to do 2 tombstones here. And there are 2 tombstones in the kit. I had fun doing all of the little details around the edges, and oh gosh, you guys, I never thought making tombstones would be so much fun, but they were. It was very fun. All right, so I want to cut 2 of each one. So right now I've got 1 of each one. I'll use my die pick here to get this out of the die. And this is dried fig cardstock that I'm using, so I'm going purpley. Taylor went purpley earlier this week, which is not like her. I don't use purple as often, but I think use it more than Taylor does. But this is the blurple color that we all seem to love, the dried fig. I don't remember who it was, but they said that dried fig is the gateway purple. Jill, there is a sale starting tomorrow. So I gave a little bit of a sneak of it. It is not for today, but it is for tomorrow. It's our Labor Day sale. And there's a code, and you will see it all over our social media tomorrow for sure. Okay, because we're doing shaker tags, I need to cut out openings on the fronts of the 2 tags here. So I'm going to take 1 of each style, and I'm going to use those frames and cut out the window for the shaker tag. If I wasn't doing a shaker tag, I could just add my sentiment on top. Although I thought it would be a fun idea too, to even if you're not doing a shaker, just for that cool dimension of having that nameplate kind of, I guess, depressed into the tag is kind of a fun idea. Inlaid into the tag. So I'm going to end up with 2 extras of these, so you can either hold on to them or let them go. So there I've got a frame, little tombstone frame. Never thought I'd be making tombstone frames, but here we are. All right, and we're going to do a little bit of ink blending on those, and of course then we're going to do some splattering. So let me just, my mats are crooked in there. Set these to the side. I think we're done die cutting. And I'm going to grab that Earl Grey again. So we're kind of almost going to age this purpley color. So if you don't want it to be, you want the color, but you don't want it to be super bright and kind of in your face. Adding that gray, blending around the edges is going to kind of mute that color, give it that more, I guess, Halloween-y, spooky touch to it. Of course, you can leave it bright colors. You can do it however you want. I'm just going to do a little bit in the middle to hit the edges of that frame, like that. So I got to do the 2 fronts. I'm gonna go around the edges here like that. So there's our fronts, and then let's get our backs. And one more, we'll go around the edge here. Come along the bottom, along the side, and then we are ready to add the splatters. Okay. We'll set that there, and let me grab, I'm gonna do my tombstones, and I'm going to do my nameplates. But one thing about when I have a sentiment on there, when I don't want to get that sentiment too splattery looking, I'd take a Post-it note. We're just gonna tear that into little pieces and just set it right over the sentiment. You could use regular paper too, really, because this doesn't sit here real long. And if it doesn't cover it completely, that's fine. I just want it to kind of protect the main part of the sentiment. So I'll have more splatters and things like that around the edge versus right on top of the sentiment. And this one, I'm wondering if I just want a little bit more off there. So like that. I have Post-it notes always nearby. I use them for all sorts of things when I'm crafting. Okay, and to splatter, I normally use chocolate truffle liquid watercolor, but of course for a Halloween project, we're going to use Oreo. And I already have some on my acrylic block. As you can see, I've got my chocolate truffle here and my Oreo here, and I can just reactivate this with my water brush, which I'm going to do. I'm just going to pick that up, and of course you can use a paintbrush with water to do this just fine too. And I'm going to just tap this over my finger to splatter onto everything. Pick up a little more color here. And of course I have a little bit of water dropping, which is just fine too, because that kind of changes the look of the ink a little bit as well. And let's do white. So let me grab my paper towel so I can wash up my brush. My water brush, I'm just going to push more water through that brush and basically brush it onto my paper towel to get that color out. Then for white, we're using the Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. And I like to pick up color, and I just kind of like to get it going right in my lid. You can do this on an acrylic block as well. And then we're going to tap and get white splatters. All right, I think that's looking good. I'm going to clean out this brush. White ink in your brush is an acrylic ink. It will wreck your brush if you leave it in there too long, so make sure you flush your brush out really well to get that ink out of there. Our white ink does that, and if you have this one, this is another black that's great for splattering, make sure you get this cleaned out of your brush really well as well. So you can use either. I use the Oreo liquid watercolor. It's a little bit softer black look than the Black Star. This is definitely a more opaque black on your project, so it's up to you what you want to do. Okay, let me kind of move this stuff and wipe down my area. And then we'll start putting our little shaker tags together. Just gonna move these to the side. Oh, and I can peel these off because that. So there's still splattering on there, but it protected that sentiment so that it doesn't get like a white splatter right in the middle of my letters. Okay. Angie, our lives always are at 10 a.m. Central on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you're on the YouTube channel, I think when we start setting up our live stream, I think it will show that we have set it up. Facebook, I don't know if it does that. I can't guarantee what time that happens because it depends on the person doing the live. But I can just tell you that we are Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Central Time. That has always been our live time. And Taylor has other lives, other times. Usually they're at 10 a.m. But there's usually announced on everything. So that's the best I can tell you for making sure you know when things are. Okay, so we've got our pieces. We've got to make sure we have the matching pieces that go together. So first, I want to make sure that my little sentiment is going to land in the perfect spot on my tombstone. So I'm going to turn this around because remember, I want this to show on the back. So I'm going to turn this around and line this up. And let's do no escape on this one. So I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of my little thing there. And we're just going to pop that right into the opening so that it's lined up on that back part, because this is going to be up above, but then it's going to line up right behind it. So that's what you need to do to get that behind. So let's do it again on this one. So again, this part is going to be the back, so we're going to flip that over, and let's do Izzy Dead. And so let me put some adhesive on the back of that one. We're going to line these two pieces up. And then just pop that little plate right into that opening. So these are lined up now and ready for when we are ready to put the shakers fully together. So now we need to put an acetate, because if you want to create a container for your shaker bits, so we have to close this off, and obviously we need to use the window acetate behind there. So I've got a strip, I know it's hard to see here, that I cut that will fit the width of this piece here. And so I'm just going to add some adhesive around. So I'm going on the back side of the frame, and we're going to just add some adhesive around the opening of the frame. And then I'm just going to set that acetate on there. Make sure that I don't have any pieces kind of overlapping into the window. And I'm just going to trim that once I have it kind of covering that window. So I'm not being super exact with measurement. I think I cut this like 1 5/8 inches wide. But basically I want a piece of acetate to cover that opening and not peek out from behind. So it doesn't have to be the full size of the tombstone, it can just cover that opening. So let's go ahead and do the same thing here. Add that adhesive around the opening of the window. Just going to make sure that there's, sometimes those little dots from the Scotch tape runner kind of overlap into the opening of the window, and they can cause havoc on your acetate. All right, so I have my two frames now have the acetate inside, and then we need to create kind of that space. So we've got the foam sticky strips. So these are the 1/8 inch tall foam strips. These are the black. So we have these in white and we have these in black. And I love the black because for like a Halloween one, then it is, where is one of my tags? There's not that bright white in there. It's just the black color, which is perfect more for those darker cardstock colors or especially for Halloween projects. So what we need to do is we need to put a frame around where we want our shaker bits to sit, which is again right around that opening of the window there. So I'm just gonna circle these around. I'm stuck to my glass mat. And you want to make sure that your ends are butted right up next to each other. You don't want to leave any gaps because you don't want your bits to fall out. Many of us have made shakers before, so I'm sure some of this is not new to you guys. I think it's fun sometimes to see making shakers out of things you maybe wouldn't have before. That's too short. All right, and I'm going to just trim this right here. And then I do need to put some extra support, because if I just attach this right to the back here, like that, this part right here doesn't have support, and up at the top's going to be a little bit of a different story here. I'll explain in just a second here, but we need to put some strips down here to add just a little bit of height so that that tag has some extra support. Right there. So if you were just going to put these on to the treat boxes, you might also want to put a strip up here, but we're going to actually punch an eyelet through here, so I'm going to leave that, because when we punch through, then it can just squeeze together really easy. If I had a piece of the foam in there, it's not going to go together as nice. So now the next thing I need to do, so let me do the frame on this one as well, and then we'll get to the shaker bits. Are you guys talking about if the splatters are on your glass mat, how to get them off? I guess I'm missing that conversation that's happening. If I can catch it right away, I can wipe it with a paper towel. If I have stubborn pieces on my glass mat that are hard to wipe off, I'm finding that a Clorox wipe works fantastic for cleaning off my mat. Especially the white splatter, the white acrylic ink splatter, especially after it's dried just a little bit. Okay, so there's my frame about where the shaker bits are going to sit. And this one is a little bit taller on the top, so I am gonna stick this piece right here just to give that a little bit extra support, and then add a few more strips down here to add some support to the bottom. And Carrie, I have white dots for days. I mean, if you look at some of my other stuff, I have so many white dots all over. But cleaning off stuff, Clorox wipes seem to work the best for me to get that off. So if I sat with a Clorox wipe and wiped this off and wiped this off and everything, that usually gets most of it off. A little bit of the alcohol spray sometimes helps too. But part of my desk is just that there are splatters everywhere. That's just part of it. Okay, so we've got our shaker frames ready to go. So I'm using those Bits and Pieces Halloween Stars and Sparkles. And I got my little spoon. I don't know if this is still in the TE Web store or not. I bought this a long time ago. It's that Nouveau spoon, and it's perfect for spooning little glitters into things. And you don't need very much. You need just a little bit, because remember, our opening is just tiny. So you don't want to do too much, otherwise you're not going to see your name. I'm going to do just a touch more on here. Just like a few extra little bits on here. And really you just need enough to add that interactive element to it. Okay, so really what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the adhesive off of this piece and we're just gonna line it right up over the top and press it down. That is what I'm going for. I kind of watch the bottom edge. There's that kind of little detail down there. I find if I can get that bottom lined up pretty good, I do pretty good at getting the rest of it lined up as well. Make sure it's pressed down nice and secure. And then we have a shaky tag. Look at that. Right there, so cute. Okay, let's do it again. Take off all the little papers, the release papers. Yes, Susan, a splatter box works well too to not get splatters on everything, but I'm kind of lazy and I'm not too bothered. This is my working area, so you can tell that I've been here. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so we're gonna line this up right over the top. Again, I'm gonna kind of line up that bottom. Set it right down. Press down to get it all adhered together. So now I have two little Tombstone shakers. Look how cute they are, you guys. I love it. You could put other things in there. I put the stars in there, but you could put like the little glitter spiders in there. You could put, I think we have candy corns in one of our things, at least we used to. You could find all sorts of fun little things to put in there. You don't need too much, again, because you don't want to cover up the name in there, but there's some other fun things you could definitely add into there. Okay, so let's add the bats. So I have bats cut out. These are the Little Bits bats. I think I pulled the die collection so that I could show it to you. Yeah, I think I've shown these to you before. So there's 3 sizes of bats and Little Bits bats. They're a perfect little Halloween accessory. So if you don't have them and you love Halloween, you need them. So we're going to create our bats flying off the top of our tombstone, and we're going to do that by adding a little strip of acetate. I was inspired by Miss Lori Craig, and she had her little tombstone box, and she cut cardstock strips, and she had the boo coming out from behind it, along with, I forget what else was over here. Was it her ghost? Her ghost and a boo sticking out from behind the box, and I'm like, oh, I could have bats flying up from my box. So I have a piece of window acetate here that, let me cut it with my trimmer. Sorry about that. All I did was cut like a 1/4 inch wide. We're not making this tremendously tall. These bats are not very heavy. So I have just like a 1/4 inch strip of the window acetate. And I'm super scientific in how I did this. So I'm just gonna put a little adhesive onto the very bottom of the strip. I'm going to pop it in and adhere it to the tombstone, just right in that opening up there. And then I'm going to find 2 bats. I did like 1 big bat and 1 smaller bat. I'm going to straighten this just a little bit. And then I'm going to put a little adhesive on back of the bat and stick him on there, and adhesive on the back of this bat. And pop him on there, kind of tip him the other way so they look like they're flying out of there. And then I'm just going to take my scissors, you see this, and I'm just going to trim so that that strip is behind that top bat. So I didn't measure anything, I didn't glue it to the top, I just had it so it kind of ended at the back of that. And that's how we have our little bat flying out the top of that. Okay, so let's do that again on this one. We're going to pop our little tag in, our little strip of acetate in here. Oh, I'm going to switch this one to the other side. So I have bats coming out the other side. Right there. Get a couple bats. Big one. These are cut out of the black glitter cardstock. Perfect for bats. And again, we're going to pop one like right there, pop one like right there. It's such a fun little detail, almost a fun little interactive detail in itself to have this little like bats flying up from your little tombstone. Okay, so I'm gonna do one into a tag, and then why don't we cut out one of the boxes and put one of the boxes together for the other one. So we have a treat box version and a tag version. So I have a piece of cardstock. This is poppy seed. Let's cut out a box. This is cut to the 6 inches width of the die cut machine. I think this one, well, you could barely fit it this way, but this is the way you want it to go. And this will cut the cut lines and score the score lines for you. Just like that. Let me grab my sticky tape. Okay, so let's fold this. And Taylor had such a good tip on Tuesday. So I'm folding on my score lines, and I'm using just, she used regular adhesive, which works well, but then if you want to be sure, I've got the super sticky tape, so this is the 1/4 inch one here. I loved her tip of where you flatten this flat and then flatten that front part, and then it's perfect. That is such a great tip. And like she said, and I agree with her, this box bottom stays pretty well even without adhesive, But you could put adhesive, we'll put some adhesive right on, that's where, I mean, you could put it there, but I think I just put them right on this flap when I made my boxes. Right there. And then we'll pop that in there, and then you can just squeeze it if you want that extra protection like that. So it goes together so quick and easy. It's a great little box. Let's take one of our little tombstones, and of course I have the pretty side on this side. That's okay. We'll still make it happen. You could use super sticky tape there too. So there is that. So this one is a little treat box ready to go with little bats flying out of the top. And then let's do a tag with this one. So I've got my hole punch. This is the crocodile, and I'm going to take and do an 1/8 inch punch. If you look at the top of the tombstone, there is a little dot right there, and that's what I've been using to punch my hole. It's pretty close to the top of there, but it works for that size eyelet. If you're doing a little bit bigger eyelet, I'd maybe move your hole down a little bit, but that's a great guide to make sure that hole is right in there. And of course I can see right through there to line that hole up with my hole punch. I'm punching through both layers at the same time. I'll show you my tools. I'm going to set the eyelet off to the side. I've got the mat, I've got a little hammer, and I've got a little eyelet setting tool. These are tools I've had forever. Eyelets are not as popular as they used to be, but I have my little box of eyelets that I have saved. I pick them up at thrift stores. I find them at garage sales and things like that. I'm going to grab a little black eyelet here. I probably will always keep eyelets. This was a great thrift store find, you guys. A whole little bag of eyelets. I'm going to set this not on my glass mat because let's not shatter my mat live on TV. Let's not shatter my mat live on TV, live on YouTube and Facebook. So I'm just going to do this right off to the side, so you'll hear me pounding in just a second here, so just be aware for your volume. Hold on. All right, that's all it takes. And I got a little eyelet right there. Let's add a piece of burlap twine. This is always my go-to. There are so many fun things you could use to thread through your tags. I just love, this is always available. It goes with just about everything. And let's pop that through. Make sure you don't grab your bats. And thread that up. So there I've got my tag and my treat box. You could even do like you have this on a gift bag, and maybe this is tucked inside with all sorts of little Halloween treats in it. Super cute little idea. So yeah, how are you guys? What do you think? Another fun idea with the Tombstone Treats Kit. It's still available now. Let me flip you guys up to the top. I am so sweaty. It's really warm in here. Taylor was saying turn on the air earlier down at the studio. I am feeling the same. Our lights get really hot. Okay, I'm gonna pop you back up to the top. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. We had so much fun creating. We've got the little treat box and the little tag with the little flying bats flying out of the top. I am not, forget where I am in the camera. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you had so much fun. I hope you learned something new too. We always enjoy you joining us. We are so grateful that you are a part of the TE community and family. It brings us great joy to be able to share all of this with you. So again, I'm going to remind you that Lori Craig is going to be live with scrapbooking cards in today if you want to see her and her magic with the Olo markers. So make plans. This is just going to be like watch all the crafty things all day long, right? So thanks again, you guys. Have a great weekend. It's a Labor Day weekend, so those of you in the United States, have a great holiday weekend and a great back to school. I'll see you in a few weeks. Bye, everybody.